On the line with us right now, and this is very special, we have Mr. Nicky Addeo. Nicky, you're on the air.
I'm here. How you doing?
We're doing fantastic.
Let me say hello to you and your audience.
Thank you. And Nicky, if you don't mind, I am going to introduce you by reading a little bio so that everybody knows your background, and then we'll talk about it. That okay? So, Bruce Springsteen says about Nicky in his autobiography that Nicky's the real deal, with a falsetto that wet girls' panties and sent shivers up Satan's spine. Danny DeVito says he has the voice of an angel. Michael Uslan, the ex-producer of the Batman films, attended a concert at the Wonder Bar in Asbury Park, co-hosted by Springsteen. And Michael admitted there and on other occasions that Nicky was one of his favorite singers. And during Nicky's career, he was contacted by the Metropolitan Opera's assistant manager, Francis Robinson, to meet and discuss a future. But it wasn't always that way for Nicky. Nicky survived a perilous street life existence. He slept on every street in Asbury Park, sometimes in old cars that didn't run, trees, park benches, his girlfriend's closet, and under her bed, and sometimes he'd get a room in some cheap rooming house. One place had heat up to the second floor, but Nicky was on the third. When he couldn't afford the rent, he'd come and go via the fireplace. One time, after receiving a notice that the front desk wanted to see him, he gathered up his belongings and around 3 a.m. in the morning left by the fire escape. When he got to the bottom, there was a cop waiting there. The cop asked Nicky, "What are you doing?" The answer, "I'm moving." The cop said, "It's 3 o'clock in the morning." Nicky answered, "We move while the landlord sleeps." The cop laughed so hard and told him to get the hell out of there and don't let me catch you on these streets again. He assured the cop that he wouldn't be caught on those streets again. Once, while dancing with a girl at a Heart Fund benefit, he was singing along with the record. She said, "You sing nice." Nicky thought, wow, maybe I've got something here. He could charm the girls and also hustle some food now and then. Sometimes he'd be accepted into the black churches and clubs on the west side of Asbury Park, where he'd sing some gospel tunes that he learned, and then receive some food. He was also taken in for a few nights here and there by some west side families. He often stayed with drug addicts, pimps, prostitutes, and other creatures of the night, anywhere to keep warm. Often called the preacher for his strong anti-drug stance, he witnessed overdoses, people pimping off girlfriends, beatings, etc. He was shot out twice on 2 separate occasions and stabbed once, obviously not fatally. The shots, luckily, of course, missed him. He was on his own late in his 15th year, and he experienced many of these things in the next year of his life. Too many experiences to talk about here, but we have Nicky with us to talk about some of that. So, Nicky.
Yes.
Tell us about your background, Asbury Park. You know, what made Nicky the man?
Well, I guess a lot of these experiences, I mean, you can live or die by them. You can make choices. You can take one path or another. And I was fortunate enough to choose a path that got me out of that life. And I saw too many who didn't get out of it or couldn't get out of it. And I consider myself very fortunate.
Well, definitely. And you were basically living on the streets.
Yes.
And
that doesn't mean you're always on the street, but most of the time,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes, you'll find some shelter. Like I have a series of vignettes. I wrote about it, and one Christmas Eve, it must have been around, I don't know what year, 60, 61. This fella John he had like a cafe. Well, it was a cafe in Asbury Park, and he was selling Christmas trees. And a lot of the people at that time in that area couldn't afford Christmas trees. So he said, on Christmas Eve, you can sell them for $1 a piece or 50 cents a piece or whatever. When those people came back on Christmas Eve with their children and everything, I just gave them the trees because I was sure that he wouldn't mind. Then I slept. I was going to sleep on the counter actually, but it was too difficult. So I put on White Christmas. I'll never forget it. White Christmas on the jukebox,
Mm-hmm.
and I put two chairs together, and I laid down on the two chairs, put my jacket over me, and I was in heaven.
Wow. Quite some experiences helping to mold the person that you are today, the man that you have become. Now, we've spoken a lot, and these days you're very much into humanitarianism and social issues, but we're going to get there. We're going to start with a little history and then move forward. So you were sort of discovered, or a girl discovered your voice, and then you took it from there. Excuse me. But how did you get, quote unquote, discovered?
Well, that came a little later with the girl, maybe a month later. But before that, when you're like roaming the streets at night, especially late in your 15th year, or
Mm-hmm.
16th, you try to find a place, and you're trying to find a place to stay for the night, let's say. And there were guys hanging out here and hanging out there, and there was this group of guys from Bradley Beach, New Jersey, and one night I got in the car with them when we were driving along, and I was singing, not really, just with the radio. I was just glad to be somewhere, and he pulled in by a lake between Bradley Beach and Avon. I'm not sure your listeners would know where that is, but that's not far from Asbury Park. And he said, "Why don't you sing something without the radio?" I said, "No, I can't do that." And he said, "Come on, I think you got something, And I'll never forget it. I sang Johnny and Joe's "Warm, Soft, and Lovely." Of course, it's a duet, but
Mm-hmm.
I sang about half of it. And he kind of flipped out. And then subsequently, he took me to this place. I think that Saturday they picked me up and took me to this place in Lakewood called the Seven Stars Ballroom. And he said, "Go in, and you might like it." And he gave me like 50 cents in case I had to pay.
Uh-huh.
And the lady at the door let me in, actually, and I could hear this great music, the music I had heard in Asbury Park, all this rhythm and blues, the harp tones, the heartbeats, all that. I thought I was in paradise, And and eventually at that same place was where the heart dance was about a month later, where the girl said, "Oh, my goodness," so on and so forth.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, but I wanted the guys to come in that night, though. They said, no, that's not our kind of place. That's for you. So we went back home, and I was hooked. I was hooked on the music, and I was hooked on maybe actually singing,
Yeah. Well, what great sounds back then, and you had the ability to emulate those great groups, and just such a gift. It's lucky that somebody said to you, "Hey, you can do this."
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, I didn't like. Even today, I don't know. I don't know what people hear, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I certainly didn't like it back then, but I did it because I was able to sing for hamburgers sometimes and sing for food and so forth, you know. And even in some of the black churches on the west side of Asbury Park, you know, a store would go out of business, and 2 days later a cross would go up, and there'd be a little church there, you know. And then they used to have these socials, or teas they called them.
Mm-hmm.
I would always hang around there, and then they saw I was so skinny, I guess, they let me come in, and I started singing the music that I heard there, like, you know, soul sirs kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The hem of his garment and all that stuff. And then they would always offer me something to eat afterward, you know. I would always refuse, and they would almost force me to eat because those lovely ladies knew that that this kid needs something to eat.
Yeah.
You know, so, but that was kind of the genesis of the whole thing, you know, that you begin to get, you know, confidence, and then out of that I don't know how this ever happened, but I wound up on Springwood Avenue, which was this was the west side of Asbury Park, the primarily black area, and I wound up singing with some of the guys from Lenny Welch's old group. Somebody told them about me, and I wound up in a hallway and with Ronald Coleman and Raymond Nolan, and Joe Major was the bass, and they treated me so lovely you couldn't believe it, you know. And I remember the first time, if I may, singing up there. In fact, of course, I was an oddity. The landings were just filled with people,
Mm-hmm.
and they were doing just two kinds of people. And when they got to the end, love, you know, and then the high note, they looked at me, and I froze. I couldn't. They did it about 2 or 3 times, and they had a bottle of wine, and they said, "Here, take a shot of this," you know. And I really didn't drink, you know, but I did, you know, and I did, and then I hit that note, and I surprised myself, you know. So that began the idea of me actually thinking I could sing, which I'm still not sure if I can.
Well,
I think I can.
we know you can. And now, while all of this was going on, and you were still living on the streets, and you got shot at and stabbed.
Right. Yeah. Well, actually, one of the that came a little later. One of the shootings, I was with 2 other guys, and it happened in New York, you know, and way uptown in New York. And they used to call me the preacher, you know, because I hated the idea of drugs. I saw too many guys dying, and I saw too much. Of course, we can't talk about all of that here, but I saw too much. So this one guy had told me, and I knew him well, and what he was doing, and I knew him since he was a kid. And he said, you know, there's a guy in trouble up here. It was, you know, and you know how you are, and we could really help him out. And I thought that was the case. We went up there, and it turned out that we were in you know, what do you call them? Like a shooting gallery, you know. And he said, we're up on the 3rd floor. Little did I know that this guy had a gun. And when the guy opened the door, he stuck the gun in the door, and the guy slammed his arm, and the gun fell inside the apartment, and we're running like hell. You know? And boy, when you're getting shot out, boy, you're like you could win the 100-yard dash.
I'm sure.
You know, thank God it didn't. You know, it didn't hit me, but we got in a little tussle when we got back to Asbury Park.
I can imagine. Well, luckily the shots missed you.
Well, yeah, and them too, you know. But and then there was one other time somewhere in Neptune, New Jersey. I don't remember exactly where. And then I was trying to break up a fight somewhere, and I got stabbed also. You know. It wasn't a big. Thank God it wasn't a big knife. It wasn't enough
Again,
I'll tell you that.
again, luckily.
But this is what happens. I always used to say, from 11 o'clock at night till 6 in the morning, all the cockroaches come out, and all the rats and cockroaches to do their dastardly deeds. And believe me, I saw them all,
Can I ask him a question?
I'm sure. Angel Barbara wants to ask you a question.
Okay.
I'm actually really curious. In that time, did you feel as if there were more people that wanted to help you and were really kind and loving? Or did you feel terrified and feel like everybody was, it was a scary world?
Yeah, well, it was a scary world. This is funny when you mention that question, because sometimes you'd say, if you had to be on the streets, let's say, looking for a place, or you were going to go in a car that didn't run. I remember that I started to get nervous being in the car, so I got in the back seat of the car, so I got in the trunk, because I'm figuring, if anybody sees me in that back seat, then I'm thinking somebody's going to shoot something.
Right.
But then at another time, I wound up, I think I was roaming the streets one night, and I think I saw a rat or something. And I got so, I got freaked out by that, and I climbed into a tree. This was in Asbury Park, and right by Summerfield and Ridge Avenue, somewhere in that area. And I took my sneakers off, and I hung them over the branch, and then you hold your arm up on the next branch above. And the next morning, the poor man came out for his milk, and he saw me. I thought he was going to have a heart attack, me in the tree. So I grabbed my sneakers and jumped down, almost barefoot. I had socks on. And I found out later he was okay. But a lot of times, I did stay with people. In fact, one of the group, Bobby Young, his family, I even watched his kids. I stayed with them now and then. I stayed with Tony Maples, a guy who I was introduced to by a fellow named Norman Sullivan, who you know. That was later on, though. I met Norman a little after all of this stuff went on, and I stayed at his house a couple of nights.
What about childhood friends? Kids you grew up with?
No. They didn't even know, what was going on.
Okay. Because I know my kids, when they'd bring friends home, you could tell if friends needed help. Or I kept many a person at my house.
Yeah, no, they didn't know. In fact, even to this day, a lot of people really don't know what happened in the life that I was living,
And that's...
then I had a girlfriend, too. And that's the girl I met, at the dance hall. And she was really wonderful. She was a year older than me, and she had a driver's license. Her father didn't like me, though.
Naturally.
Under a bed, I slept. In fact, I remember sometimes he was a hard-working man. Let me just say that. He's a decent guy. I would leave the house and I would say goodnight to everybody, knowing that I was going to come around the house and go in. She would open the window, but when she opened that window, and I could still hear him cussing me out, but I don't think he liked the idea that I was bringing her to the west side of Asbury Park,
Yeah.
But that's probably, where all the groups were, and he was from Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh. Wow.
So you can only imagine.
Yeah.
But it all worked out. But I give her a lot of thanks for helping me, and
Do you know what became of her?
no, I don't. I try to find her, and I know she was a very decent person, and I remember so many instances where she was vital to my life. As a matter of fact, I had stayed in this. It's still there. This place called some of the names I can't remember, but on Second Avenue in Asbury Park. This little house. It was a rooming house, and then when I lived there under two different names actually. I lived there under my name, and I lived there a year later under Ronnie Madison. Okay.
Ah, okay.
Well, because it's a funny name, like Donnie Madison. Well, because I was on probation,
No.
No, are you kidding? We're loving it.
I had to be in the house by 11 o'clock at night, but I had no house to be in at 11 o'clock at night. So I always had to make sure I ducked the police and everything, because if you don't, then you have to do the rest of your time. And I had been sentenced to, I think it was Annandale Correction Center.
Oh.
It was for fighting,
Yeah.
like that. But anyway, I remember one night in Bradley Beach, she met me, and I really had a bad fever. And I write about this in one of my vignettes.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, take me to the house over there, because they leave the door open and people pick their keys up, and go into their room. I said, well, listen, if there's keys there might be a room that's open. And just to tell you how brave she was, she got me up to the next level. We got a key, got me in there. She said, look, I'm going to come back tomorrow. I'll knock 3 times, but you got to stay here because you got a bad fever. And I was just hoping nobody rented a room,
Yeah.
And she came the next night and knocked on the door 3 times. She had soup and aspirin and that kind of stuff, and really nursed me back. But that's the kind of girl she was. I was only 16 at that time.
Wow. That is wonderful. You said not a lot of people know the story and what happened. We're waiting for the book. It's...
Well, there's much more to it. I mean, when I'm saying it now, in retrospect, there's much that's left out,
Mm-hmm.
And but I saw things that I really probably shouldn't have seen. I've seen, I'm not sure how far I can go on this interview, but I've seen things that were very disturbing,
Yeah.
And not just the drug taking itself, but the drug addicts, especially the primary drug then was heroin,
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be in the rooms where they were cutting this heroin, and filthy rooms, filthy tables. I said, what are you people crazy? Because they had to cut it, and then they put in what then was called nickel bags.
Right.
$5 bags. And they cut it with anything they could find. Talcum powder, baby powder, whatever,
Yeah.
baking soda,
Wow.
And then people are shooting this in their arms. That was enough for me not to do it, to be honest with you.
I can well imagine, and thank the Lord that you didn't. I'm gonna let you catch your breath for a moment and put on a song. This is "Would I Be Crying?"
Oh.
So, if you would like to introduce it.
Yeah, I don't know about this song. I always love the flamingos,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm prone to gospel music and rhythm and blues music, and then opera.
Okay.
But my first love was gospel music, then rhythm and blues, and this group, the Flamingos, they just freak me out. Sonny McElroy, and you know the names of the guys in the group.
Yeah.
They're fantastic, And this was one of the songs, and I kind of wanted to do a tribute to all those cats back then, So I would, in my basement. This is from it's a basement recording, and on it is Danny Ugardi, Bobby Blue Castellano, myself, and I thought it came out real nice. Would I Be Crying?
Okay, let's listen.
I can be lying. Can't you see that I'm crying? Would I be crying if I were lying to you? My heart's about to break. I regret making my mistake. My love for you burns the same, and my tears can't put out the flame. Won't you forgive me? give me. You must believe me. I will always be true. Would I be crying my heart out for you and hurting the way I do? Would I be crying if I were lying to you?
Absolutely beautiful. We're here with Nicky Addeo, and just basically running. It's kind of like a "This Is My Life," Nicky. And what we just heard, "Would I Be Crying," cover of the Flamingos. Just beautiful. What can I say? Great job.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Well, think about all those groups, the Mungos, the Flamingos, the Harpoons, the Heartbeats.
Mm-hmm.
You can go down and list them, and the lesser known ones were like Noah's Strong Diablos and them. I mean, who made money? No one made any money, And they're the foundation for all the people who made millions and billions after that, even the Beatles and all that. These guys are the foundations, and girls,
Yeah.
And a lot of times, and most times, not only did they not get money, or much money, they not even given the credit that they deserve, So I felt when I did those songs, I was just a tribute to them.
Mm-hmm. And done beautifully. So, okay, you're on the streets.
By the way, that's my friend that I call my brother in the back with the nice tenor voice is Danny Ugardi.
Okay. So you're on the streets and you're doing, you're singing in different places and maybe making money, but more likely not.
No money. No. When I was with if you want me to be as accurate as I can, with Bobby Young and who was a mentor to me, and even Billy Brown. That's how I met Billy Brown, who later went on with the Moments and Ray Goodman and Brown, and the Dome. Not Dome. That was another group. And Raymond Nolan and Ronald Coleman and trying to remember Joe Major. These guys really showed me the ropes. But before that, at the Seven Stars was another group. That's when I first started singing with any group, and they were called the Dardanelles. Ray LaMonica, his brother Gene LaMonica.
The Dardanelles.
I can't remember all their names, but I started singing with them up there. They heard me and they wanted me to sing with them in their group. Bernie Isaacs and their group, and that kind of started it. And then I got involved with the groups on the West Side. I don't even know what we called it. Well, we morphed into the Uniques. I think, yeah. And that's how that happened.
I see.
It was a wonderful learning experience. But all that time, I was, as I said, I was just trying to find a place to sleep. In fact, they talked to my girlfriend, which was interesting. In fact, this was in the story that Rhea Perlman, Danny DeVito, and myself later on would talk about concerning a movie called Scuffling, which didn't happen, but we made some money. It was with Disney, but then I forget his name. He wound up going to DreamWorks with Steven Spielberg, the guy we were dealing with, Jeffrey Katzenberg.
Oh, okay, yes.
But the idea was that the group at that time, you can understand the social situations. They came
Yeah.
You know, maybe that. And she said, well, I'll ask him. She said, but all he thinks about is getting through to the next day. You know, he never thinks, in fact, I don't know if I still think that way, you know. So she did come and tell me, you know, and I said, I don't know. I said, I'm looking for a place to sleep tonight, you know, and I would have loved to have done it, you know, but
Yeah.
we sang at a lot of places locally. Didn't really make much money, but it was a great learning experience and a camaraderie. Because music, you know, I don't want to preach here, but
That's okay.
a great unifier, you know.
Uh-huh.
And they looked at me like I was the kid brother, you know. You know,
Yeah.
looking out for me. Don't drink, don't do drugs. Well, who was an alcoholic? Who was this? But they made sure I stood away from it. You know, stayed away from that stuff.
Right.
You know.
So, now, Danny DeVito, story that I heard was Danny DeVito cut your hair in the backseat of a car.
He did.
He did.
He was going to beauty school at the time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't say often. Maybe that happened once, but he did it. I was a little leery. The car didn't run. He sat in the back seat, even if he remembers, and I was in the front seat, and he said, let me give you a trim. You know, he was learning to be a beautician. I don't know if people know that, but he is a beautician. You know, he actually worked as a beautician.
Oh.
But the thing is, the car we were in, it was getting too dangerous, and his nephew, Peter Lucia, tells this story. Peter remembers Danny and me ripping the back seat out of this car, and it was a Ford that had crossbars in it. So we had to try and cut the crossbars so I could just pull the seat down and go into the back without opening the trunk from outside, you know.
Uh-huh.
Believe me, it was like a 1950 Ford or something.
Yeah.
I had a pretty big trunk. I had books in there, clothes in there.
Yeah, back then, yeah.
You know, so yes, but that is the case. You know, that he did do that.
I mean,
It came a little later on, maybe a year later. I'm surprised when I think about it again in retrospect how close these events actually were,
mm-hmm.
and where they led to. As a matter of fact, I believe Danny was the first one to ever record me with a group ever. He had a Webcore tape recorder.
Wow.
And I think he came down to the west side and at a rehearsal, and he recorded us. You know, I don't know where the tape is. I don't know if he knows. Yeah.
That would be great if it was still in existence.
Oh yeah, sure. You know,
But
Danny loves this music. You know that.
uh-huh. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And so does Springsteen. You know, a lot of people don't realize that Springsteen does too.
Oh yeah. And we've seen the videos of you on stage with Springsteen at the Stone Pony.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing. I had 103 temperature that night. You know,
Oh,
and
wow.
I don't even know how I could talk, but but that came later on. That was 2011.
Yeah, but that was still amazing. I mean, it was you, Springsteen,
Bruce had called me and said, because we were going to honor the people on the west side of Asbury. They had never been honored for their musical contributions, you know, in Asbury Park.
Mm-hmm.
And the Music Society of Asbury Park, where the music lives, allowed me to do it. And I did it at the Wonder Bar. I put a band together, and I had to go on, you know.
Yeah.
And Bruce called me and wanted to be part of it. But that's later on, you know.
Right. But that's still, I mean, with, we have some mutual friends that were on stage with you, Joel Katz and Hal Keschner.
Oh, Hal, sure. And also, I don't know if people know Southside Johnny.
Right, Southside Johnny, the Asbury Jukes.
He was there. I think he got in a fight with somebody that night. And it's funny, he gets in a fight. So Bruce tells me, he said, I said, where's Johnny? We got to go on stage. He said, I think he got in a fight, you know, something like that. So he says, when you get on stage, call him, you know, like there was so many people in there. So I said, no, you call. You know, he's going to listen to you before he listens to me, you know.
Uh-huh.
But he was already gone.
Oh.
Never knew what happened.
Oh, great stories. Yeah, gotta write that book.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm told.
Yeah, okay. The next song we're going to play, Nicky, is A Kiss from Your Lips.
Oh, I love this.
And again, tell us a little bit about it.
Well, a flamenco song, yeah. And I think, you know, the background of this song by the Flamingos is amazing. And I think the way we did it is not equally, I'll never say equally, but very good. You know, them initial notes, they're like angelic when you hear that background.
Yes. Okay, let's take a listen right now. Nicky Addeo, A Kiss from Your Lips. Nicky Addeo with A Kiss from Your Lips. And Nicky was telling me that was recorded in his basement.
Yeah, well, they both Would I Be Crying, but, and also that's, again, Danny Ugarte, who's with a group called the Cameos. You probably, they play around, you know.
Yeah.
They perform a lot, well, not recently probably, you know. But we always could work well together to make some beautiful sounds. And because, you know, even to touch a flamingo song, you know,
yeah.
you have to do it right. They're just too great, you know.
Yes. But let me tell you, you have done these classics justice in that the sound is incredible. The songs you sing from your heart, you can tell how much you love this music.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I actually, when I got into the, let's say the opera world later on, this was a foundation for me.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing how to sing, not just loud and scream, all the time, but using what the operatic world calls mezzo voce, which means half voice, soft voice, full voice, You had to master all that. And I learned that from singing rhythm and blues music.
Wow.
Because I had no real training,
Right, and that's amazing that you had no real training, and it's natural. It's as clear as a bell, and just beautiful. Heavenly voice.
Well, I meant operatic training. I had none of that. This, of course, most people, Stevie Dunham, everybody does it. They just have a natural gift for it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you love it.
Yeah, and so this was you in the streets singing and gaining a reputation.
Yeah, I guess I guess I was, because we weren't singing in clubs or anything,
No, yeah.
But sometimes, street corners. I remember singing at the IBPOE Elks, on Springwood Avenue with the group. That's the Black Elks, right?
Yeah.
I remember the first time I sang with music ever was a place called Big Bill's. Let me tell that story.
And
Should I tell that story about Big Bill's?
yes, please.
Oh.
This is your platform.
Well, I'm just trying to remember these different things. Big Bill's was a place in Asbury Park on Springwood Avenue. Big Bill's it was primarily a black club, had jazz, a lot of jazz in it, stuff like that. Because Asbury Park used to be famous for that before it ran down and all the other stuff. You had Billie Holiday was down on Springwood Avenue. A lot of these little songs from. So, of course, before my time, but so Big Bill was having St. Patrick's Day celebration, and he had all the finery. He had green hats for everybody. I'll never forget it. He had green hats, and he had the silverware, and he had the corned beef and cabbage, and he always called me Mickey.
Mickey.
I was too young. I didn't really drink, but I had to be 16. I had never sung with music to this point, so I don't know. Singing on street corners, singing in the hallways, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
This guy playing the organ was a guy named Sammy Pugh. He was the blind organ player. Amazing, So he said, Mickey, go up there and sing Danny Boy. I said, I don't know Danny Boy. He said, no, go ahead. He said, all the Irishmen in here, stuff like that. So I said, where's the Irish? He said, where? And stuff like that. It was fun, So I said, all right. So I went up to Sammy, and he goes, just whisper in his ear, And I whispered in his, because I didn't know any keys or anything like that, and I said, oh, Danny. And he said, I got it, son. I got it. Get out there. And then he started, it sounded like the London Philharmonic. He had a Hammond B3,
Yeah.
And that's the first time I sang with music. And I sang, and I said, happy St. Patty's Day to everybody. And, and I got a big applause. I don't know if I was good or not, but they were very, very kind to me. But that was the first time I ever sang with music.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great memory. Okay, let's take a listen to you doing Gloria, and I believe this is a live version.
Later on, yes.
Yeah. And so many people have done this. So many groups, so many individuals, including Stevie Dunham, a few times. But let's hear Nicky Addeo doing Gloria.
Can I tell you who's in the group?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's Clarence Clemens. It's the first guy you'll hear. You know, there's a horn player from the E Street Band. This is later on, of course.
Yes.
You know, this isn't at this era. By this time, many years have gone by. Gary Talent, the bass player. Max Weinberg is the drummer. Herman Selden is on keyboards. You know that name.
Yes.
And a guy named Billy Ryan on guitar. And backed up by 14 Karat Soul. Now, the funny thing is, 14 Karat Soul they were really a good group. You might have heard of them.
Yes.
Know? I don't know if you did or you didn't. But, you there?
Yeah, and we have definitely heard of them.
Yeah, 14 Karat Soul. But we didn't really have time to rehearse. So I said, listen, when we come, I'll give you the hand signals. We're on stage now. So when I went up to the high note, and I said, then when I cut you, make sure you come back in. Well, they didn't come in.
Oh.
So you'll notice it's kind of elongated at the end. So I'm trying to make sure they came in, but it turned out to be okay.
Good. Well, let's take a listen. I hope I have the right version here. Nicky Addeo, backed up by 14 Karat Soul, and Gloria.
Gloria, Gloria.
Starts with Clarence's sax. It's only a minute and 49 seconds.
Oh, okay. Well, I had the wrong version there. So while I look for the correct version, how about So Blue?
Oh, that's fine.
So we'll hear Nicky doing So Blue while I look for the correct version of Gloria.
Yeah, it's a minute and 49 seconds, that other version.
Okay, I'll take a look. Nicky Addeo with So Blue.
Yeah, with the Night Owls. Yeah.
With the Night Owls.
Later on, yeah, that's one of my favorites, by the way.
It's beautiful.
Okay.
Love that one. Well, each of these, you did a fantastic job. People in the chat room, the reactions. Stevie Dunham said, "So Blue is great." Bubba said, "Super." People are loving it. So, we're glad that you're wanting to get out there again and sing. So, we're going to make that happen.
There's nowhere to say.
I know. Right now, it's a little tough.
Yeah, sung Ave Marias and things like that in church,
Uh-huh.
and funerals, which I've done too many Ave Marias the last couple of years,
So, let's put on For Your Precious Love.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is from Newark to Naples album.
Right. That's really the only commercial album I ever had.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And a little bit about this?
Boy, I recorded this in Hazlet, New Jersey, in a basement, and I think Bobby Blue Castellano and I can't remember everybody on it, but I think it's really a fine recording, and it's really a tribute to obviously Jerry Butler.
Okay, great. Let's take a listen right now. Nicky Addeo.
I need
Nicky Addeo with I Need Your Love. And during that break, Nicky was so kind to send me the version of Gloria that we're talking about. I thought I had it, but I didn't. So we have that. And Nicky, Bubba in the chat room asked if you have any CDs out.
Not currently, no. But of course, we're going to talk about the
yes,
songs of unity, hope, and inspiration. But that's a different kind of CD.
Yeah, we're going to get to that. But I think there are some available from the past. If you look on Amazon, maybe, or eBay, there are.
Well, I mean, you can get from North to Naples. I mean, if I could send it direct, something like that.
Oh, okay.
That was never actually released, but I could give the address where to send, and
okay.
What to send.
Well, yeah, you can. Why don't you do that? Actually, you can do it right now and tell everybody how much. And
well, it's $15. The shipping included, which is, I think, a pretty good bargain. There's 23 songs on there.
Yeah.
And it goes to P.O. Box 2303, Elberon, Elberon, New Jersey, 07740. And my email, if anybody wants it, it's ni4a4@aol.com if you need to contact me.
Fantastic. Okay, P.O. Box 2303, Elberon, New Jersey, and the zip?
07740.
I'm just typing it in so people can copy it down. And that's great. Okay, so we have it out there. And now we can hear Gloria live with Clarence Clemens' opening. So that was recorded live from the audience. Somebody in the audience luckily recorded that.
Yeah, there's a whole album somewhere.
Oh.
No, I mean, it's on tape somewhere,
And, yeah. Oh, Bubba in the chat room said he's going to put a check in the mail tomorrow. Sign me up.
Oh, that's nice.
There you go. You got a new fan.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And, okay, the life of Nicky Addeo. We've been talking about your singing career, and later on you became involved with Ronnie I with UGHA.
Yeah, but while I was still, yeah, that's a jump up.
Okay.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But before then, I got involved with a group called the Plazas. That's from Plainfield, New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
Where Funkadelic guy was from, George Clinton. And these guys I met on this, Danny Ugardi, you might know him, beautiful.
Yes, yes.
This was around 1960, something like that. And the Seaside Boardwalk, Seaside, New Jersey, and we used to be packed, and people singing and everything, and I don't know what happened, but I saw these four cats walking down the boardwalk. They had like on straw Homburgs on, you know.
Yeah.
And the T-shirts with the skinny straps on them. I'm not going to use the names they call them.
And
they have a number of names for them.
Yes,
And
the wife
with the suspenders, and they started singing, and the crowd got around them, you know. And somebody pushed me into them and said, "Listen to this guy," And I was very introverted, and continue to be. But Danny Ugardi tells the story better than I do. He remembers it. But I did sing. I don't even know what I sang with them, you know. But the reaction was really great, and the group, they sounded like one person singing, but it was harmony.
Yeah.
It was Tony Ventura, Bob. I forget his. Bobby Stern was the baritone. Joe Ugardi and Danny Ugardi. Joe sang second tenor, and Danny Ugardi sang first tenor. That was the group.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I went on to actually record a Danny Boy with them. Yeah.
Oh.
In the basement of a church.
Very cool.
Yeah. Hardly knew the song. This is funny because when we were doing the session, this guy named Major Yacarino had to come over. I don't know what car I was sleeping in at the time, and he had to actually wake me up and get me in the car and get me over to the church on time. You know, I mean, it's not a great recording, but it's it's what it is. You know.
Yeah. But
people like it, you know. But when I look back on it, I think of other things. You know.
Yes, of course. But
then for a short time, I sang with the Darchets. They had their lead singer and songwriter had gone off to college. Not really that long. That was the first Glory I ever recorded with Buzzy Lubinsky, and yeah. And but we did sing a few gigs and stuff like that. But then he returned, of course, and took over. That was his group.
Yeah.
And then what was after that? I don't remember. Probably coming up after that, I was probably around 1964 is when I met Norman Selden, a young guy who was producing shows and everything.
Yes, Stormin' Norman.
And he wanted me to be in some of the shows, so I sang, and Billy Brown, who was leading the Uniques at the time, was unavailable to sing, so they got me to sing, and I'll never forget it. I was actually in Elbron, New Jersey. They just tore the house down. Well, not just about a year or two ago, but I was sleeping on the porch, this guy's porch, and it's one of the big old, it's like mansions there, you know, but it was all dilapidated. But they picked me up, and when Norman had booked a session, and at that I sang, I forget, Over the Rainbow or something like that. But I sang, what I had to do, I just remembered, was sing in Keensburg with the group.
Okay.
You know? somebody was coming into the club, you had to play, and they had security, I guess, because I remember one of the guys telling the story. So it was primarily, Leon Trent, Ronnie Coleman. I think the guy's name was Raymond Morris, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if Sam Cesana was bass. I don't remember that long ago. All I know is somebody didn't like the idea that I was singing with it was an interracial group, whatever you want to call it. I'm trying to be kind about this,
Yeah.
And wanted to shoot me off the stage.
Wow.
Thank God, I didn't find out till later,
Yeah.
The cops got him. They thought he had a humpback or something. They said he had a shoulder shotgun. I don't know if that's true or not true.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Let me take you back, because I have a question. 1957.
57?
57, 5-7. Barbarossa and the Historians.
No, that's later.
Oh, okay. I somehow
That's around
had
64.
64. I don't know why I had it listed as 57. Could be I got to put my glass.
64.
Yeah, could be I need to put my glasses on.
And they also had me. That was the Jade label. That was Norman's label.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
When I Fall in Love, it's not there. I mean,
it's great. I mean, it's like everything you do. It's all great. Your voice. So I know that.
I don't.
I know you're very modest.
No.
But and that record, you can't even get a hold of that record.
Oh, well, maybe that's good.
Goes for a lot of money. From what I've seen, up in the hundreds of dollars.
Oh, well, that's pretty good.
So.
Well, I've seen the Danny Boy with the picture sleeve as high as $1,200.
Wow.
A long time ago now.
Uh-huh.
Guy from Spain and some guy from Atlantic City. I think Ronnie I told me.
Oh.
Later on. I finally got a copy of it,
Oh, good.
Actually, I found Danny DeVito's sister had copies of Danny Boy with Danny's name on them. Like, he must have wrote his name on the records.
Oh.
I wish I had them,
Yeah. Stevie Dunham said the Jade record is the holy grail of a cappella 45s.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So.
Well, maybe I'll have to listen to it again.
Yeah.
So you have to remember, at those times, I was experiencing, strange things,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the way I was living, and it was, let's say, it was unconventional, to say the least,
Yeah.
But it was nothing I could do, I had to live through this,
Right. And
I didn't fully come into my own till, much later.
Uh-huh.
I was still, I mean, it wasn't like you just heard on that Gloria,
Right.
It was still very youthful, very young,
Mm-hmm.
Very young sounding.
Yeah. Well, those
And not what I would normally put into a song later on, but other people hear other things,
Yes, definitely. And
I thank Stevie for saying that.
well, these were while you were singing and those were your formative years. You were learning as you were doing it.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody would feed me, I'd sing.
Well, there you go.
I did the first Gloria. It was Buzzy Lubinsky. Now, you know that name.
Oh, yeah.
Lubinsky.
Savoy Records.
Buzzy's his uncle.
Uh-huh.
The guy that does
TJ.
Buzzy's father was Herman Lubinsky.
Yep.
Okay, so Buzzy, I think we were in front of a CEO or something, and I was definitely on the streets.
Mm-hmm.
Then.
Yeah.
Why don't we do a version of Gloria? I don't know how it all came about. And I said, Buddy was known to go to play at dance. He played drums, play at dances, and he had a great record collection. Let's say a great guy, slightly eccentric. Okay.
Okay.
He would bring colored balls,
Right.
All that. I think that's how TJ got his influence, to do what he did.
Yes, yes.
Because the house was full of those old records, and of course, TJ's grandfather was Herman.
Right.
And they had all them great artists, Etta James, Willie the Hand Jive, Johnny Otis.
Yeah.
You probably know more than I do,
Well,
but
Savoy was a great label.
yeah. He the Jive Bombers, and they were in North New Jersey,
Mm-hmm.
So, that's where he found. But anyway, getting back to Buzzy, he definitely wanted to record it. So they got the Darchets. I think that's, other than me doing backgrounds for them, I think that's the only record we did. Is Gloria, and it was on Savoy.
Mm-hmm.
And and Buzzy had promised me a hamburger dinner. I'm saying it that way because that's what he promised me.
Uh-huh.
Hamburger
dinner,
I
okay.
think they went up themselves, and then I went up, I think, with Buzzy. However, that happened, and we did the session. I'm trying to remember Sammy, Patsy, Denny, Ray. I can't remember all the guys that were in the group at that time.
Uh-huh.
But, everybody. I don't want to leave anybody out. But we're coming back down Route 22. I never forget it. And he passes this diner. I said, Buzzy, what happened to the hamburger dinner? I'm supposed to be paid a hamburger dinner. Fries, I want the whole deal,
Yeah.
And he did stop, and we had the hamburger dinner. But on the flip side was Bring Back Your Heart. You remember that song?
Yes.
We didn't even, they learned it right there, we did it right there. And Buzzy played drums. I can't remember the whole band. Billy Ryan on guitar. I don't want to leave anybody else. Steve Lusardi on keyboards. And the bass player, I forget his name. That's the guy's house I was sleeping on his porch. But the funny part about it is there's a young guy there, 14 years old, hitting the tom-toms. And it was Vinny Lopez. He didn't even play drums yet. He would later become part of the E Street Band.
Wow.
As drummer, yeah. And Vinny would always say I was the first rock and roll star. I said, Vinny, I was never a rock and roll star. And I made these little recordings, but that was it,
Yes. And
stories are interesting.
They are. And unfortunately, I don't have a copy of the Savoy record, but it was reissued on another label, which I do have.
Earls, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's okay. It's a little too juvenile for me,
Oh, okay.
The notes are all there, but it's not. It's not how I like myself represented. Then I didn't care because I was getting a hamburger.
That's probably it. Okay, I have. Go on.
I think we did a Variety Studios. Probably a lot of people know that in New York.
Yeah.
A lot of things we've done there.
Okay, Nicky, what I have next is I'm Falling in Love.
Oh, okay. This is a basement recording.
Okay.
And, I think Norman Sullivan's on piano on this, I think. And this is the Night Owls.
It is.
I like this. The fidelity's not great, but if it's the one that's pumped up a little bit, the volume, it should go over pretty good.
I believe it is, so let's take a listen. Nicky Addeo with the Night Owls. I'm falling in love. Great job, Nicky.
Yeah, I love the Jesters.
Yeah. And
Being So Strange to me is just like it's in my top 10. You know,
wonderful.
Real street music. You know,
It is unmistakable. Paragon's Jesters, that New York sound.
yeah, but the Jesters, man, they just stop them cats.
Yeah. And next up, we have The Wind.
Oh, okay. By the Diablos, by me.
By you.
Yeah.
And I have this marked as your favorite version.
Of me.
Of you.
Version of me. My favorite version is by Nolan Strong and the Diablos.
No, I mean your favorite version of The Wind as done by you.
Yes.
So, okay, let's take a listen.
Yeah, try and really. I think there's a great atmosphere in this record.
Okay.
Lovers making love, then I long for you. And when the sun and the stars are shimmering across the mountains and the valleys, then darling, I look for you. And even until the heavens above can no longer exist, even till then, shall I still love you? I will always love you. I know she is gone, but my love, it lingers on in a dream that the wind brings to me. Brings to me.
The beautiful voice of Nicky Addeo, The Wind.
You're too kind. But it's just such a beautiful song, I think, you know.
It is, and each and every one of these songs that you sing, you make your own. You make it your own.
I think that's the idea. You know, we all, you try to keep the integrity of the song and of the feeling of how it should be done, the time period it's out of, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all part of it. But we're all individuals, so that's what it's going to come out like. Yeah.
Yes. Another classic that you've done, My Reverie.
That was, of course, that was on in my basement early on when it was a 4-track recorder. I remember, and I still have the mic, which is an old stage mic, very old, but it worked very well. And the guy accompanying me is Lamar Mitchell, who is a great instrumentalist. In fact, I think he did Would I Be Crying Too. And he was snapped up by little Stevie Wonder. I believe he's still with him, Stevie.
Yes.
And the thing about My Reverie is, and I'm going to be very candid, I'm not singing all the correct words that I think was Larry, I forget his name now. But, it's based on Debussy,
Yes.
the classical composer.
Larry Clinton. Larry Clinton wrote the lyrics.
Larry Clinton, that's it, yeah. And the reason why I'm not singing the right words is I listen to the lyrics. So, but still, I really didn't know the song when I sang it, but it was a great song to learn how to sing, really learn how to sing. And a lot of people really loved it. I remember Don K. Reed would comment all the time to me about this song, this recording. So
Yeah.
these songs were never released or any of that stuff, so they're coming out of the archives now.
Well,
I want to do them live,
yes.
while I'm still able.
Yes, that's what we're working towards, getting you out there.
Okay.
Let's take a listen to My Reverie, Nicky Addeo. Beautiful stuff.
Is a dream, but in my reverie, can't you see that this dance was meant for me? Only a poor fool, never schooled in a whirlpool. Our romance would be so cruel as you are to me. My love is as worthless as tin to me. Without you, life could never begin to be. Please, love me. In my river,
Another amazing song with the incredible Nicky Addeo.
Well, thank you. That song teaches you, at least it taught me how to sing, because it's just written in a, basically a classical fashion, and it's kind of a jazz version of it,
Yeah.
And the Larks put their stamp on it, which I was more or less copying,
Right.
And Eugene Mumford, another great. Oh my God, was that guy? Was he great?
But your version, that was killer. Your voice does it such justice.
Well, like I said, that's not a studio recording,
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times it doesn't matter as long as it comes out pretty clear.
Yeah.
There's no EQ on it. There's no just boom. That's the way it is.
You record it and you get what you got.
I get what I got. Yeah. Now I don't know where we are in the storyline. Maybe we might have to do a part 2.
We probably will have to, but I definitely want to get to a few more songs and then start talking about the humanitarian and social issues side of Nicky Addeo. But would like to let the audience hear you doing My Hero.
Okay, that's a basement recording too.
Okay, I have...
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Okay, I have one My Hero live. No, okay. My Hero Night Owls. Let's see. What else? Yeah, you and the Night Owls.
Yeah, I thought you had the second version.
Yeah, I do. We'll dig that one up. I'm pretty sure I have that one marked.
We'll play something else and I'll get it to you because it's an interesting story with it. That's why I mentioned this.
Okay, I'm sure that I have it, but yeah, send it. And in the meantime, let's do the time.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and send me that one while we listen to Nicky Addeo, The Time.
No sympathy.
Addeo, The Time. And Nicky, some of the comments, wow, could listen to him sing all night. Great, love this. Just some of the comments.
Everybody adores Nicky Addeo.
This is true.
He's a big, oh wow.
Nicky,
That's very nice. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Nicky, you are a legend. You know that, right?
I'm still here.
Yeah, I mean, legend in your own time, yeah. So, we do have the correct version of My Hero.
Yeah, there was a young fella, can I go on with the story?
Sure.
Yeah. This fella Aaron was getting ready for his bar mitzvah, and he heard me sing My Hero, and he said, Nicky, he had this high voice, you know. He said, I really want to sing that song at my mitzvah. And I said, sure, okay. So we went ahead and we worked on a track that this fellow, Dusty McCalley, and it's a little bit up, it's about a half tone up, even from the blue notes, right? So we rehearsed and everything, but he said, no, I can't do it, I can't. I said, you can, you know, but he didn't want to, you know, waste his time trying to learn it and everything. I think he could have done it. So I got the fellas together in the basement, and I said, well, let's try it. Let's see how it comes out. And there it is.
Wow.
What you're going to hear.
Okay, let's hear Nicky Addeo, My Hero, in the basement. Absolutely beautiful, Nicky.
Thank you. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Beautiful.
You know, can I tell this story?
Yes, of course.
When I was, I lived on, before I was out on my own, I was on Bangs Avenue, which is the west side of Asbury Park. And I lived with my we heard all these songs, like If You Love Me and, all the great R&B stuff. On the Grand record label, all those, Over a Cup of Coffee and all those things, That's the music that was played. The Valentines, Lily Mae Bell. I'll never forget, I was a kid. I wish I could sing. I'd like to sing that stuff. But in my mind, the song I always wanted to sing, I'm pointing to my own head now. I used to hear myself singing My Hero, but I couldn't sing. But I never thought I'd be a singer, because when I came down here from Newark, I was in grammar school, Catholic grammar school, Our Lady of Mount Carmel in Asbury Park. Danny DeVito was in the same school. And I think 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And I was a whisperer when they sang. I didn't care because I didn't even think about it. So it wasn't until later on that, I don't know how it came about, but it just came about that something was there, And I wound up, I said, I have to learn that My Hero, And I thank God. I said, I didn't even care about making money with it or anything, just being able to do it. It just touched me,
Yeah. Well, luckily, it did, because we have the pleasure.
Oh, and I had to hear, of course it was the Blue Notes version that, they made it the R&B version, And Franklin Peaker, I think, was the lead singer. Man, that cat was great. And, I love that sound, that authentic kind of sound.
Yes.
And it touched me.
Well.
And anybody who does this music, all the groups, and people who do this music, I give them great credit, because it keeps it going, it keeps it alive, it keeps that sound.
Definitely it does.
And it's an honor even to do this stuff. That's all I can tell you.
Well, we're honored to have you for tonight for the interview, and we're going to have many more. And I am truly honored to call you my friend.
Likewise.
So thank you, Nicky. And speaking of the purity of the music, how about a little bit of a cappella?
Okay. What are you going to play?
Well, I'm going to leave it
all
up.
The acapella ones are all basement recordings,
Uh-huh.
Last Night I Dreamed, or
This Broken Heart, Zuzu.
Whichever one you want.
Okay, I think let's do Zuzu and This Broken Heart. We'll do those two, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's okay with me. I like Last Night I Dreamed also.
Oh, okay. Well, we can put that one. We can put that one on as well. And
I'll have to.
well, I like Bob said in the chat room, we can sit here and listen to you all night long for as many hours as we can.
This song here, Zuzu, I never forget. These friends, they weren't actually my group. They sang with other people. I think I forget everybody's name, so I don't want to be names, and I don't remember who. But we were upstairs, and and they were fooling around, and they said, "Oh, I like this song, Seated So Close to You on a Crowded Subway Car, Just Call You My Lorraine." That's the opposite backside of Zuzu, I think.
Yeah.
And I said, Zuzu, isn't that from It's a Wonderful Life? The little girl was named Zuzu.
Uh-huh.
The only girl I ever heard named Zuzu was, and maybe that's where they got it, I don't know. And I said, let's go downstairs, put the recorder on, ba-boom, 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 and there, and this was it, Zuzu.
Okay, well, let's take a listen. We're going to hear Zuzu, This Broken Heart, and Last Night I Dreamed, triple play.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Bow, dow, dow. Zoo, 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 ah, zoo, zoo, zoo. Bazoo.
Of holding you tight.
was all I know our love will always will be as I know, yes I know that we walk down the aisle. I dreamed, yes I dreamed that we were wearing a smile. I know our love will always be as
Nicky Addeo with, wow, some great a cappella. Last night I Dreamed, and before that Nicky did This Broken Heart, and we started that a cappella set with Zuzu. Nicky, I guess it must be more difficult singing a cappella because there's no room for mistakes.
Yeah, it's true, but that's how we all started, because there was no music.
Yeah.
You know how to figure it out, and a lot of most of the groups do it very well,
Mm-hmm.
and it's carried on till today,
Yeah.
People doing it and enjoying it, and I'm not in the loop that much, but now and then you get a chance to jump in,
Yes. Woo. Just wonderful, wonderful music tonight here on Remember Then Radio with Nicky Addeo. Nicky, I would like the audience to be able to hear some of your classical pieces, the operatic pieces. And we can do a couple, 2 or 3, and then we're gonna.
They're not. I know when people hear opera, they get, ooh,
Yeah.
But I have. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
But that's okay. Go on.
I was that way myself,
Mm-hmm.
But I remember when I was very small, we always loved Mario Lanza, and who I personally think is one of the greatest voices America ever produced. But no one, Jackie Wilson felt the same way, and Jackie, great, unbelievable, one of the greatest, Elvis, of course.
Yeah.
And then when he influenced a lot of people, a lot of operatic people, Luciano Pavarotti and Domingo Paredes, all these different people. And he influenced me too. And then a lot of people would say, when I was singing in the streets, they would say, "Why don't you?" They'd say, "Canta canzone italiana," which means sing an Italian song.
Mm-hmm.
I like what I'm doing. But little by little, and someone heard me later on. Now this was in the 70s. you want to play that.
Right, I have that one. Now, let me see if I can pronounce that. I know you did. Let me see if I can sort of get that. E lucevano le stelle.
Very good. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's it. Well, you know why? The vowels never change in Italian. Advanced languages, you know. So, E is always you know. The U is always U, you know. E is always You know, that's how I learned. E lucevano le stelle, yeah.
Good, good. And we're going to play that one, and we're going to play Amor ti vieta.
Oh, okay. They're both just with piano. I think they're taken from concerts, yes.
Okay, one.
And they're not, and good, they're short pieces, you know, they're just with piano, I believe.
Okay, wonderful. Let's take a listen. Nicky Addeo with E lucevano le stelle, and then Amor ti vieta.
Yeah, Lucevano le stelle, if you want me to say a little bit what it's about, it's from the opera Tosca, the third act. And Mario Cavaradossi is supposed to be executed. They think, you know, with fake bullets and everything, but it turns out they use real bullets. And he sits and he's writing a letter. He's remembering the starlight and the gate that his loved one walked down and their fragrance and all that, you know. And he says, never so much that I want to live, and I die in desperation. E lucevano le stelle.
Beautiful story. Okay, let's... Puccini's opera. Okay, let's take a listen. Nicky Addeo.
Van le stelle ed allezzava ladera stride all'uscio dell'orto e un passo sfiorava l'arena. La fragrante mi cadeva fra le braccia dolci baci languide cadeva
Nicky Addeo. Wow. Just some beautiful, beautiful music. E lucevano le stelle. Now we're going to hear Amor ti vieta. Wow. Again, just some beautiful music from Nicky Addeo. Different genre, but just as beautiful.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Nicky. We have so much more of your music. I'm literally so much more. We could do another 10 hours. But let's see. How about we hear your version of Again?
Okay, that's another basement recording, but I think it's pretty good.
It is. It's more than pretty good. Let's take a listen. Nicky Addeo with Again. Beautiful version.
Yeah, Danny Ugardi back there doing the floating tenor, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I wasn't singing with any bands, and I was still, this was toward the end of my street experiences. There's so much to that, maybe we can get into that next week.
Yes.
Skipped a lot of it, but some band heard me, and in Asbury Park, asked me to come up and sing, and they were called the Jaywalkers.
Oh, okay.
Pretty popular.
Yeah.
You know, like bar band, you know. And I don't know, I did something, and then the band broke up, and then two of the guys asked if time. I guess it was called the Brooklyn Bridge at the time,
Yeah.
So anyway, they put a group together, and that's how I started getting in with the band. And that band broke up, and then I went on the road and all that. It was fine for me because I had a place to sleep at night. And I was kind of getting out of that more and more, I had met, at one point met my wife to be, who was a big help to me. And but although I God forbid our family ever knew. It's funny, they invited me over for Thanksgiving dinner. I mean, I was in a hallway somewhere around that time. I had gotten a room, and I think I was doing some shows before I got with the band, I was doing some shows for Norman. I think I'm jumping around it because it jumps around.
Yeah.
Norman paid $12 a week for the room. I remember that was saying it, and to get me to go sing. But then I got with the band, and we went out on the road. We came back, and then I formed my own group called Band Nicky, because you had to have a band. Nicky Addeo, Exceptions, Asbury Park. And then I went to a place called Pandemonium. I'm going to rush it along here. I went to a place called Pandemonium, and this was around 68 now, and a guy came in. He says, "Nicky, can I do, can me and so-and-so, me and Vinny, and the other Vinny Roslin, Vinny Lovelace, can we just jam?" It was Bruce Springsteen, right?
Wow, yeah.
So that's first I met Bruce. I said, "Yeah, man, go ahead, do what you want to do." And then he was doing like Creedence Clearwater songs and some of his own stuff, And great guy, And he came to see me a few times. And little did I know that he was really examining me, came out later in his book,
Yeah.
But and especially Gloria, that's the amazing thing. But he would always say the Cadillac's Gloria when he so he gave them. I like that he gave them the respect,
Yes.
That the dance floor was full and so on, and you made your move and all that stuff. Then I got a chance to play at this club Pandemonium with my band, and then I was playing at some club, and the place burned down.
Oh.
With my equipment, with all our equipment, and so I used Bruce's stuff because we were playing on and off,
Yeah.
So that's how we really began to to connect, at that particular time. He was starting to do more and more original songs, and at that time, then I was doing The Worst That Could Happen,
Yes.
68, and some blues and some of the other stuff, and getting to, doing some more recording, and that began the next phases of my life.
Yeah.
Which maybe we'll go into next week.
Yes, definitely we will.
So we'll leave this for music, and
Yeah. Now, Bub in the chat room said to tell Nicky, thank you for sharing his story and memories, and most of all, his songs. We all love it.
Oh, thank you very much. You're very welcome.
And just such great music. I don't know where to begin. I mean, we've begun, but I'm not going to stop. How about Wildflower?
Hey, well, that's a more current song, obviously.
Yes.
Yes.
I want to do another side of you, aside from the doo-wop and R&B. I want to let the audience hear another side of you.
Okay.
So we'll kick it off with Wildflower.
Great song.
Yeah.
She's faced the hardest times you could imagine, and every time her eyes fought back the tears. And when her youthful world was about to fall in, for the weight of all her fears, and a sorrow no one hears still rings in midnight silence in her ear. Let her cry, for she's a lady. Let her dream, she's a child. Let the rain fall down upon her. She's a free and gentle flower growing wild. And if by chance I should hold her, let me hold her for a time. But if allowed just one possession, I would pick her from the garden to be mine. For she'll awaken, and sleep's the only freedom that she knows. And when you walk into her eyes, you won't believe the way she's always paying for a debt she never owes, and a silent wind still blows. So she goes. Let her cry, for she's a lady. Let her dream, she's a child. Let the rain fall down upon her. She's a free and gentle flower growing wild. Let her cry, for she's a lady. Let her dream, for she's a child. Let the rain fall down upon her. She's a free and gentle flower growing wild. She's growing wild. Let her rest. She's a child. Let her sleep.
Nicky Addeo with Wildflower. Another beautiful job, Nicky.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So now what we're doing is we're kind of showing another side of Nicky Addeo. We went through the R&B and the doo-wop and acapella and opera, just a little taste of what you've been missing if you have never listened to Nicky Addeo. And Nicky's also a songwriter. And he shared a couple of songs with us. And Nicky, I'll let you decide which we should play first. We have All the Love We Shared. Send Her Lots of Love.
No, All the Love We Shared. I mean, I don't know how the fidelity is going to be on this because it survived on a cassette, and there's no EQ or any of that stuff, and I just transferred it to CD, and that's what you'll hear. But I really wanted to re-record this song, and I hope to record it or have a major artist record it. But I think it's a pretty good song.
Excellent. Excellent. Let's take a listen. Actually, we'll hear both. All the Love We Shared, and we're going to follow with Send Her Lots of Love.
I don't know about that one. I would hold up on that one.
Hold up?
Yeah, on that one.
Okay. We'll hold up on that one.
You know, the other one with the M you could play, you know. But I'll explain that one.
Okay. So, well, let's start with All the Love We Shared.
Yeah.
Whoa, the love we share, and all the things we dared to do, baby. I want to do them all with you one more time. I want to make our poem right, yeah, darling. I know that I've been wrong, but I want to make it right. It's with you that I belong. Help me end this lonely night, baby, yeah. Darling, come on home, yeah. Please try to understand. Please try to that my life is not the same. No, it's not the same. Now I know what you must feel. I know what you must feel. It's not a game, baby. No, darling, it's not a game. The love we share, and all the things we dared to do, baby. I wanna do them all with you one more time. I want to make our poem right, yeah, darling. You're everything to me, yeah, baby. You're all I ever hoped for, all I ever dreamed of.
Nicky Addeo with an original composition, All the Love We Shared. That was beautiful, Nicky.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And yet another side of Nicky. Nicky did a version of the Four Seasons Marlena.
Yes. When I first got the band together, and this was back in, I guess in the 60s, I was playing a place called the Porta Pole. And playing it. So I said, boy, I really like that. So I started to do it. You know, we just sing it. There was no real background or anything. But it quickly became a favorite. I mean, it's like if I did it all night long, people, they constantly ask for it. You know, in fact, I did somebody's birthday party who was back there then, his 80th, and his son-in-law is Howie DeRoe of the Backstreet Boys, this was last December, and he wanted to hear it because his father-in-law loved it so much. So over the years, it's you know, I've never lost the love of it. And then somebody came to me with an idea. He said, "Why don't we try and get this for the Jersey Boys?" And I put on it the one Jersey Boys forgot. So I had held on to this for a few years, and I don't know if the fellow never did anything with it. So I really like this version though too. I mean, I'm not trying to sound like Frankie Valli. It's just me doing it, you know.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And I've played this. I've played this before on the show, and didn't say it was you. I let people kind of guess, kind of teasing. But let's take a listen. Nicky Addeo doing Marlena.
Come on, girl, won't you
Nicky Addeo, his cover of Four Seasons' Marlena, and Mike in the chat room said, phenomenal, unbelievable, wow, I have to get a copy of this.
Thank you for the compliment, thank you.
And, yeah, it's incredible stuff, Nicky. Everything that I listened to you that you've sent or that came off of a CD is just amazing.
Yeah, we put the track together. Phenomenal guy, plays guitar out of Connecticut, Ron Sabrocki, and Joe DeMeo from Surefire Studios plays phenomenal guitar, and we percussion and all the other stuff, and me.
Yeah, wonderful stuff. We have about 13 minutes left. So we have enough for a little bit more music. And the next song we have is Stardust. So, talk to us, Nicky. Tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, this is the version. I hope it is. It was. I was asked to record this, and it was produced and arranged by a guy named Wade Marcus out of Motown, who did the Dramatics and Diana Ross and Stevie Wonder. Sure, you heard me, or whatever. This stuff was never released. I think there was some litigation on it, or all that kind of stuff. But on it are some pretty powerful people. The sax player is a guy named Al Snitzer, and the drums was from Hall & Oates, and Luther Vandross, bass player at the time. All top-notch people, and there was a real strings, and
Yeah.
and wonderfully done. And this is actually an outtake. We can't find the intake, but it's. I hope this is the one.
Okay, let's.
It's an outtake, but it's okay.
If it's the one I'm thinking of, much more than okay. Let's take a listen and.
And now the purple dusk of twilight time steals across the meadows of my heart. High up in the sky, the little stars climb, always reminding me that we're apart. You wander down the lane and far, far away, leaving me a song that will not die. Love is now the stardust of yesterday. The music of the years gone by. Sometimes I wonder why I spend the lonely night dreaming of a song. The melody haunts my reverie, and I am once again with you. When our love was new, and each kiss an inspiration. That was long ago. Now my consolation is in the stardust of a song. Beside a garden wall, when stars are bright, you are in my arms. The nightingale tells its fairy tale of paradise
Again, the awesome voice of Nicky Addeo with Stardust. Nicky?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so as I said, Bubba in the chat room said Nicky took all his negatives and turned into one hell of a positive. Well done, Nicky. Please take a bow. You earned
I'm
it.
doing that right now, but thank you very much. They're very kind. I appreciate it.
And Mikey said this was a real treat for him tonight. I'm glad he made it here. He was not familiar with your music. He is now. Now, it's almost ending time. We have a few minutes. Of course, as always, I'm going to end with Peace, and I'm going to have Nicky explain a little bit about that song. But before that, just for fun, listen to this. This is Nicky. When I first heard this, I said, no way, but listen.
Pump it up, baby, gonna pump it up now. Gonna pump it up, baby, gonna show you how. Gonna walk that walk, talk that talk, shake that thing, make it ting-a-ling. Oh yeah, oh yeah. All right, come on. Pump it up, baby, gonna twist and shout. Gonna move it on up, gonna work it on out. Gonna groove it, take, can't hesitate. Come on, pretty baby, don't make me wait. You know what I'm talking about, Woo! Oh yeah. Pump it up, baby, gonna pop the move, gonna pump the groove, gonna make it smooth. Pump it up, baby, gonna party boo, like talking to you, gonna whisper to, gonna play. Oh yeah.
Okay, you had a little taste of Nicky with Pump It Up. And
It was fun, and we called it the cliche song because we try to find every cliche in the book to put in it.
it was a fun song, you know, and I listened to it. I said, Nicky? No way. But
Maybe another time on your show you'll play the whole thing because the sax break is phenomenal.
Definitely will. But now let's talk about Peace. The song, not Peace of Mind, but Peace that you wrote.
Well, in 1988, I wrote what was called the Three Songs of Healing, Joined Up a Heart, Through the Eyes of Children, and Peace. And especially Peace resonated with a lot of people because that very week I wrote it, a little child, 3 years old, 3-year-old girl, I believe, in Bed-Stuy or Brownsville, one of them places, was just getting into bed and a bullet came right through her wall and killed her, you know, and it made it more poignant, the song, you know, and I've used it. I'm hoping to get some resonance today because we are putting out a CD which includes it, and it's called Songs of Unity, Faith, and Inspiration. And I redid the song in 2015. You probably have the original. And now more than ever, we need peace. So, you know, and peace of mind, you know, and unity and working together and hoping that we can be helpful, you know, people to other people. You know, we're very fortunate, you know, in a lot of ways. And when you think about all the horrific things that have gone on in the world, you know, I won't even mention them now, but I mean, some of the instances, you know.
Yeah.
This song deals with children, and with hope we'll look at them and really protect them. That's what it's about.
Yes, very poignant.
I hope I said it correctly because I get emotional when I think about it because the children are crying. There's so many dying. Peace, my brother, peace, and that's
Yes.
25,000 children die every day throughout the world. So when I wrote it, 40,000 children were dying every day.
Wow. It is such a shame. And the
In
song,
the enormity of this problem.
and the song to this day is so very important and pertinent.
Yes, I think so, you know. And haunts me when I hear it.
Yes, but before we leave,
Go ahead. I just wanted to thank the audience for being so kind to me and with their comments, and it's very motivating and allowing me, through you, and Barb,
Yes.
I guess we'll come back next week and do it again.
Yes, we are. But before we play Peace, let everybody know your address again.
Oh, it's, well, the mailing address is, of course, Nicky Addeo, ADDEO, P.O. 2303, Oberon, E-O-B-E-R-O-N, New Jersey, 07740. The email address is ni4a4@aol.com.
Thank you, Nicky. And yes, we'll definitely be here again next week for part 2 of the Nicky Addeo story. And thank you for joining us. Thank you for being a friend. And thank you for all of the great music and the great humanitarian and social work that you're doing. And we'll concentrate on that next week.
Yeah, God
I
bless
just
you
want
for
to say, if I
caring.
didn't live that life in the streets, I would have probably not, and realized, the social injustices all around, and that we're all humans, we're all human, and we have to look for that common denominator, and I think that common denominator is we want peace and peace of mind also.
Exactly.
And, I just want to strive for it, and thank you for allowing me to be, use your platform for it, and all your audience.
Thank you, Nicky, and a pleasure and an honor. Let's listen to Peace by Nicky Addeo.
The children are crying. There's so many dying. Peace, my brother. Peace. We can't let them die. We've got to try. Bring peace, my brother. Peace. I don't care what color that you are. I don't care what place you come from. All we need is your heart and your helping hand. Together we'll make a stand. Children are dying. Children are dying. We've got to keep trying. We've got to keep trying. Peace, my brother. Peace, my brother. My brother.
Nicky Addeo with Peace, a song that is still very important today. I want to thank Nicky for joining us tonight for 3 full hours, and we didn't even make a dent in Nicky's story, so we're going to have part 2 next week. More music, more backstories, more of the life of Nicky Addeo. For now, thank you all so very much for keeping us company. You've been listening to Doo-Wop the Way You Want It right here on Remember Then Radio, WRTR.net, the soundtrack of our lives and the voice of Street Corner Entertainment. Sweet dreams. Take care, be well, be safe, be healthy, and always remember to live with love in your life and music in your soul and magic every day. Good night, everybody. See you next week. Stay tuned for Marv Rosenberg with goodies about oldies. Good night, everybody. Till next time.